नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. So continuing the Bharatam, we were in the Adi Parva after the wedding of Draupadi and the Panchapandavas, after they had returned to Hastinapura, the fascinating story of how the conversations that take place in Hastinapura when they find out that the Pandavas are alive and they married the daughter of Drupada, and what Duryodhana says, what they all speak about, and what Bhishma says, and Drona says, and Karna says, and Vidura says. It's very fascinating. Ultimately, it's decided to how they come back to Hastinapura, they welcome, the grand welcome given to them, and how Dhritarashtra gives them, as if in a very left-handed manner, he gives them a whole kingdom to rule, which is Khandavaprastha, which is in ruins, saying that you can rebuild it. And they have to go to Khandavaprastha, and how Sri Krishna thinks of Indra, and Indra immediately sends Vishwakarma, and Vishwakarma builds there in Khandavaprastha the Indraprastha. So the Indraprastha has been built, and the Yudhishthira is coronated already. And how Narada comes there suddenly, and then he speaks to Yudhishthira and tells him, among other things, he tells him the story of Sunda and Upasunda, two demons who were so close to each other. They are twin brothers, they are twins almost. They are one Atma and two bodies, two Rakshasas of tremendous power. Such great power that when they had done tapasya, they had Indra and others had tried every trick in the book to make them their tapasya to be spoiled, but they had not got distracted by anything. In fact, he had even made Sunda Upasunda think that his own relations, his mother or children or wife, etc., are coming and crying in front of them, and somebody is beating them up, somebody is all of that stabbing them. Even then, they didn't let their tapasya get affected at all. And finally, Brahma had to give a boon, and they had asked for a boon. Among other things, they had also asked for immortality. Brahma said that was not a sankalpa for the tapasya to begin with. So, other than immortality, other things that you have asked, I will give you. And he had also asked, if you cannot give me immortality, then give me this boon that we cannot be killed by anybody except by each other. Nobody else can kill us. So that boon was given. So Sunda and Upasunda knew they were so close, they would not speak to anybody if the other person is not there. They were that close. Each one's thought was known to the other like that. So finally, when they created too much havoc in the world, something had to be done, and therefore was created this beautiful Apsara. From the beauty that existed in all of creation was extracted and put into one person. One new form was created, where that form of that Apsara had not even a mustard amount of flaw. There was not even a mustard amount of flaw in that form. So Tila, not even a Tila amount of form. So she was called Tilottama. So Tilottama was so beautiful that when she moved, Lord Shiva's face turned in tuck in 5 directions to keep seeing her. So he got faces like that. And Indra got 1,000 eyes because he wanted to see her. And the Devas, their faces went 360 degrees. Like that she was. She was that beautiful. And she went and she did her job perfectly with Sunda and Upasunda. And they had to fight with each other. One saying that you must call, she is my wife and you must call her your mother. The younger said, no, she is my wife and you must call her your daughter-in-law. They started fighting and they killed each other. So that was so Narada tells this story to Yudhishthira and says, why I tell you this is because, you see, these two brothers, they fought over this Tilottama. Now you must ensure that there is no misunderstanding or quarrel regarding Draupadi if 5 of you have married her. So there should be no misunderstanding because that should not. So he blesses them saying, may good happen to you. So then the Pandavas, they had already discussed that. So they tell Narada that they discuss that and they come up, decide a code of conduct. So they decide, let Draupadi stay with each one of us for 1 year each, respectively. 1 year me, 1 year like that. And at any point in time, when she's staying with one of the Pandavas and she's inside the house in Antapuram, at that time, no other Pandava should enter that room. If they do, by any mistake, then that person will have to go on a forest exile for 12 years and observe brahmacharya. This is as a brahmachari, he has to be in the forest, go away. This is the condition that they have with each other. So that they can avoid conflict. It's nice, good condition. So it's fine, life is going on well. And one day what happens is there's one Brahmana who's got some cattle, he does homa, etc. Some thieves come, some crooks come and they steal his cattle and go away. So this Brahmana is crushed and he comes running to the Pandavas and starts hollering, saying, Pandavas, some cruel thieves have come and stolen my cattle, please save my cattle wealth, please rush. It is like some crows have come and they have taken off the butter from the homam, or some jackals have come and entered into a lion's den when the lion is not there and they have created havoc inside that lion's den. Like that, they have come and stolen my cattle. And the king, any king who takes tax from the people, 1/16 of the earning of the people is taken as tax by the king, for which he is obliged to take care of the subjects, and if he doesn't take care of the subjects, then the whole world calls the king a sinful person, etc. This Brahmana is crying at top of his to Arjuna. And he says that my dharma for me to do my Agnihotra depends on these cows. The milk that they give to me, O Pandavas, pick up your weapons, go, find my cows, find those thieves, etc. Arjuna, of course, immediately gets up and says, Abhayam, do not fear, don't fear. Wait. You have to wait for some time. I'll get you your cows. My weapons are inside the house. I'll get them. He says, what weapons are inside the house? This Brahmana is not willing to wait at all. He's going on beating his chest and hollering, saying, my cows have been taken, you're not doing anything, you're sitting down, you're one foot upon the other, etc. He's crying, pleading. And started weeping loudly. Oh, he's crying. Then this Arjuna thinks he's a poor fellow, Brahmana. His cows need to be recovered. I should do something to help him. If I do not, then that will be adharma. I have to help him. And then the adharma will not only be for me, that adharma stain will also go on to Yudhishthira because he is the Pandava king. So it will assign to him. And the story will go down in history that the Pandavas could not protect the Brahmana's cows. That also will go down. Now, I can wait or I can enter the Antapuram to collect my weapons. If I enter the Antapuram to collect my weapons, then the condition is there, which means that I have to go off to the forest and stay there for 12 years. I will be breaking that code of conduct. If I don't, then there is this adharma that I have not protected the cows of the Brahmana. Adharmo vai manastu Vaneva maranam mama sharirasya vinashena dharma eva vishishyate. Either I commit this adharma of entering inside now, or I have to go to the forest and I will die. I may even die in the forest. But doesn't matter if this body is destroyed, so long as this was a dharma sankatam. He realizes that the real dharma lay in protecting the Brahmana and getting the cows. So he decides that it is better for me to break my code of conduct and enter. So he enters the Antapuram of Yudhishthira, and Draupadi are sitting and chatting at that time. Nice photo in Mahabharata, Gita Press edition. So they are sitting down and chatting, and on the wall, all these Gandiva weapons are all there on the wall. So he goes in and without looking at them also, he goes and picks up his weapons. And comes out and tells the Brahmana, quick, Lead me and tell me which side they went. So in no time he goes and he finds those thieves. In no time he destroys those thieves. He gets the cows. He brings them back. He gives it to the Brahmana. And then he goes back to Yudhishthira. Dhaumya is there. Yudhishthira is there. The Pandavas are there. He bows and tells Yudhishthira, Lord, I have broken the code of conduct. So allow me to atone for the adharma. Allow me to abide by the condition that has been laid upon us. I will have to go to the forest now. That was the agreement. Yudhishthira was shocked, starts stammering a bit, and he says, No, what have you done? You have not done anything wrong. What is wrong? What have you done? What you have done is what I would have told you to do. It is dear to my heart, what you did. I am happy that you did it. Don't go anywhere. Listen, sit down. Listen, if an elder brother is sitting with his wife, it is not wrong for a younger brother to enter the room. It is only wrong if a younger brother is sitting with his wife and elder brother enters the room. That is not correct. Dharma. Now, O mighty Arjuna, O Mahabahu, listen to me. There is no need for you to go to the forest. No, leave that. You have not broken any dharma. You have not embarrassed me in any way. Nothing is wrong. Arjuna says, Prabhu, it is from you that I have learned that there can be no pretense in the conduct of dharma. So I promise to say the truth touching this weapon. He touches his Gandiva. That I will never swerve from Satya, from the bare truth. Please order me, allow me to go to the forest. For without your approval, I cannot go. So you must tell me to leave now. Very reluctantly, Yudhishthira allows him, and taking the permission from Yudhishthira, he straight away proceeds to go to the forest. His weapons, of course, he can take. There's no conditions attached there. He takes that and he proceeds. Vaishampayana is telling the story to Janamedaya, and Vaishampayana says, Janamedaya, when Arjuna, the great person by whom the fame of the king of the Kuru Vamsha is ever glory, held in high honor throughout time, when Arjuna left the city, lot of people started accompanying him. Many Mahatmas, it is Indraprastha, many Mahatmas, many number of the knowers of Vedas, the knowers of Vedangas, those who are following Adhyatma, Dharma, those are seekers of the self, etc., Brahmacharis who are living on Bhiksha, Bhagavad Bhaktas, the people who are doing Bhakti Marga, they, then tellers of stories, Sutas, those who tell Puranas, then Sannyasis, then some Vanaprasthas, senior citizens, they also, they decide that, now it's a good chance, we get 5 years later, maybe we can't, now we'll go. So they all start accompanying Arjuna. See, wherever he goes, he's got weapons also. So, not a problem. So they can go with him. So they all start accompanying him. He's okay. I mean, he can take a city with him. He doesn't think that he has to go alone and all that. He goes. So he goes and the lovely, charming lakes, etc. They cross and rivers and they go to temple tanks, ponds, etc. It's good fun. They do that. Jungles. Vanachara means not necessarily that they stay inside the forest, it looks like. You have to be on the move all the time. The whole world is a forest for you. And they reach Hardwar, Gangadwar they reach. So once they reach Gangadwar, they put some camp and the sadhus start doing it. They all set up their little altars and they start doing homa, etc. They're offering. It's beautiful, Vyasa says, look at it by the Ganges. Hundreds of rishis are sitting down, Mahatmas are sitting down and do homa in the evening and all that. It looks so charming and all that. And then maybe at morning time or around 9:30 in the morning or whatever. Arjuna, that was he had to do his tarpanam. He had to do his tarpana for his forefathers. etc. So he stepped into the Ganges and he did his tarpana, standing in the Ganges. He offered waters to Pandu and others, forefathers, and then he stepped out and he had to do his Agnihotram. He also had to do offer in the Homam, his daily Nitya Agnihotram. So he stepped out and suddenly, as he was about to step out, when he was stepping out from the Ganges, something came and just pulled him by his legs from under the water and whoop, took him somewhere inside. He didn't know what it was. Suddenly he found himself below, and there was this very beautiful lady called Ulupi. Now Ulupi had had one look at him from under the water, and that she had become overcome by passion for this Arjuna. So now these ladies of those times, they were very empowered and all that. So when they liked somebody, they'll pick him up. So she picked him up, she pulled him by his legs and just snatched him from the waters and took him to her place downstairs in Nagalokam. She was an Agakanya. She was the daughter of the king of Nagaloka. So it was her area. I mean, he had come to do there. She caught him, arrested him, and took him to her place downstairs. And pulled him. And she was actually the daughter of Nagaraja Kauravya. He had a lovely palace in Nagalokam. So it's not as if it was Arjuna he didn't have any choice. Before he realized, she had pulled him off downstairs. And when he went down into the palace and had a look, there was a nice Agni that was burning there. And his mind was that, he had to do Agnihotram there. When he was about to step out to do Agnihotram, here he found some Agni. He said, that's all right. So he started down there and he did his Agnihotram by offering into the fire in that palace of where he had been taken. Agni Devata was very pleased, it seems. It's good. He is not forgotten. Some Ulupi has come and he is forgotten. Agni means problem. So Agni Devata is also pleased with him. And Arjuna finished his Agnihotram, etc. Then he turned towards Ulupi, saying to say, who is this person who has dragged me? He had a look at her and he laughed gently, it seems. And he asked her, beautiful one, why did you take the courage to do this? Bhavani, what place is this? Where have you brought me? Oh, Subhaga. Subhaga means, oh, fortunate one. Oh, fortunate one. Nicely they used to talk in those days. Every time they used to address a lady, they'll give her a nice name and Kalyani, Bhavani, Subhaga. Like that they'll tell. Even Hanuman also, to Sita also, he'll say like that. So every time you have to give some praise, beautiful eyes, beautiful this, etc. She's happy. Now, Subhaga, who are you? Who are you? Who are you in those days means whose daughter are you? So that's what it means. Who are you means I am Ulupi. No. That's not the way to introduce yourself. He said, I am Nagaraja's daughter. Like that. So who are you means whose daughter are you? He asks her also specifically. Never know in that country. So he says, whose daughter are you? Ulupi is a very intelligent girl. She says, king. In the Nagakulam there is a Nagaraja of name Kauravya. He comes from the lineage of Airavata. I am his daughter. My name is Ulupi. When I saw you in the river, I fell in love with you. Other than you, I have never entertained anyone else in my heart. Straight she is coming, clearly putting point by point in front of him. Nobody else I have ever entertained in my heart other than you. And I have lost my heart first and last for any person is to you. Please gift me life. Please do Atmadanam of yourself to me. Please give me happiness. That's the straight she tells him. Arjuna says, Bhavani, Bhadre. Small problem is there. I am under the oath of exile for 12 years. 12 years I had been exiled as a brahmachari. I am not a master of my will, Bhadre, of my own will. I can't do things what I want. Oh, Jalacharini. Oh, one who roams in the waters. I would certainly like to please you. I had never told anything but the truth in my life. But this is the problem. So if you can think of any method, upaya, by means of which I do not incur the papa, the sin of being false, and my dharma does not get any hani, and it doesn't get broken. At the same time, your desire is also fulfilled. I am willing to listen. Ulupi is a postdoctoral person. She solves small problems for her. So she says, Nandana, I know all about your oath. I know the reasons why you had to undertake exile. She has done a research beforehand, looks like. Your brothers had an agreement among yourselves that if one brother is with Draupadi, the other brother shall not ever enter there with moha. With moha. And if they do so, then 12 years in exile as a brahmachari. Now, you did not enter that room with any desire in your mind. Also, as far as the brahmacharya vrata was concerned among you, it was only with reference to Draupadi in mind. So, your dharma will not get dushita, it will not get tainted. An argument she puts forward. O Arjuna of big eyes, she says, you should protect the creatures who seek your help. By protecting me, by protecting my life, you will not be committing adharma. On the contrary, saving a life is the greatest dharma. O Swami, O Kunti Kumara, I am your bhakta, I am your devotee. If you do not heed my prayers, I will most certainly die on the spot, she tells him. Grant me life and perform the greatest of dharma. You are my only refuge. Save me, she tells him. Vaishampayana tells Janamejaya, Arjuna, keeping dharma in mind, fulfilled her desire. Next day, he left. Ulupi escorted him to the banks of the river. She didn't want, she that wanted that one day, one night. Next day, he had to go. She understands. She escorts him all the way back. I'll see you to the banks, like that. She comes and to the banks of the river. And as he gets off, she tells him from the river. She gives him a small gift. She says, by the blessings of whatever, my forefathers, you will be invincible in water. All aquatic creatures will be obedient to you. There is no doubt about this. One solid gift she gives Arjuna. Vaishampayana tells Janamejaya, later Ulupi gave birth to a charming, strong, valorous son who was named as Iravan. That was later. Now, but Arjuna has now left. So, Gangadwar, that was in Haridwar. So, he now starts climbing up the mountain of the Himalayas. So, all these people are going with him. Of the Rishis and Mahatmas and Brahmacharis and Vanaprasthas, Sutas, Magadas, all of that, they are all going with him. So, they go to many places, Agasthyavana, Vasishta Parvata, Bhrugutunga, holy places. They took bath in holy rivers. He used to donate. Arjuna was donating cows to Agnihotris in those tirthas. He made houses and ashramas for rishis that he found there in the mountains, etc. Like that, you must have seen a few days ago some yogi in the mountains walking around in Kaupina in the Himalayas. Like that, if he finds, he'll build a small ashram for them. He was doing all that. He went to many places of pilgrimage. Then he came down from the Himalayas. He went east of India. He started walking towards east. He went to Naimisharanya, which is somewhere near Lucknow, now Neemsar. He went there. He bathed in many rivers. He bathed in rivers like Nanda, Kaushiki, Mahanadi. He went to Gaya. Then he went to Ganges. He bathed in the Ganges again somewhere, Bihar side. That side he did. Then he went to Anga. He went to Vanga. He went to Kalinga. All those places. Vanga is Bengal. Kalinga is Odisha. All that he went. And by the time he went to Kalinga, most of his entourage that had gone with him decided that we can return now and all that. Many of them started returning. Sometimes you can't keep up with people. So it's a problem. Some of these travelers are non-stop. So they started returning back from Kalinga. They did that. Then he went all along the sea coast. There are people still with him. He went all along the sea coast and then he went inside and he reached Manipur. Yeah, he went all the way to Manipur. And Manipur was ruled by a king named Chitravahana. Chitravahana had a most beautiful daughter named Chitrangada. Arjuna saw her. Arjuna had one look at her and decided that, she is going to be my wife. I want to marry her. So he introduced himself to the king, saying, myself Arjuna, and I would like to have the hand of your daughter. He told the king. King said, Arjuna, one of my forefathers was a king named Prabhanjana. And my forefather Prabhanjana did not have any children. He had no issues. So he did terrific tapasya and he pleased Lord Shiva, Mahadeva. And the Lord blessed him with a boon, saying that in his lineage there will be always one child in the family. Maybe at least, but there will be one child in the family. Now, O Arjuna, I have only one child. And this is the daughter that I have, Chitrangada. I have only one daughter. She is not just my daughter. She is my son. She is my everything. I desire that she stays with me. I desire that my lineage also grows. So therefore, if you wish to marry her, you have to give me a dowry. You have to give me a dowry for her hand. Arjuna says, what? King says, have a son who will remain here, who will further my lineage. And so Chitrangada also will stay here. This is the condition for my daughter's hand. That she should not leave me, and neither should her son. Arjuna said, done. He agreed. So he stayed there for 3 years in Manipur. Nice place. Stayed there, Chitrangada, and they had a son. After that, he took leave of Manipur. The son was Babruahana. Okay. Then he went down from east, he went to south of India, to Dakshina Sagara, to southern here, Bay of Bengal, that side he came. He came all the way. Then in all rivers, streams, etc. Then he found that there were certain rivers, Agastya Tirtha, Saubhadra Tirtha, Pauloma Tirtha, Karandava Tirtha, Bharadwaja Tirtha, which were considered very holy, but he found that none of the Mahatmas took a dip there. Nobody would go and take their bath there. Like when you go to Manasarovar in Rakshastal, nobody will go and dip or have a bath. That is not considered auspicious. But here, these 5 are considered auspicious, but nobody used to go and take a dip there or have a bath there. So that made Arjuna curious. He asked some tapasvis who are around, what is the reason? Why people are not, why is this considered that nobody should take a bath here, etc.? What is wrong with these tirthas? So that tapasvi told Arjuna, the thing is this. It's a straightforward reason. In these streams, we don't know when it comes to what, but there are some 5 crocodiles. There are 5 crocodiles here. And they just kill whoever takes a bath there. That's why nobody takes a bath in this place. He said, what nonsense crocodile. Anyway, he's recently got one boon also from this Ulupi, that it will not be so. That also can be tested. But not that he's afraid of crocodiles. Arjuna being afraid of crocodiles, he'll tear them up. He's not bothered about all that. Anyway, so he decides what nonsense he says, and he starts as Saubhadra Tirtha. He enters that Saubhadra Tirtha, I am going to have a bath, etc. He starts bathing, and crocodile says, "Who nonsense, somebody has come." So it goes and grabs him by his leg. Arjuna says, what nonsense, somebody grabbed, he sees his crocodile. He just starts walking to the bank and drags that crocodile onto that bank. He just pulls it out of that water and thrashes it on the ground there. As soon as the crocodile came out and he thrashed it, suddenly it turned into a beautiful young woman, decked with dazzling ornaments and all that. Fantastic ornaments, divine, radiant woman. Arjuna was charmed again. Arjuna was charmed and he asked her, Kalyani, who are you? How is it that you are a crocodile? What sin did you commit that you became a crocodile? Etc. That lady, crocodile turned lady, her name was Varga. Nice name, short one, Varga. Varga said, Sir, I am an Apsara. My name is Varga. I am Prayasi, the beloved of Kubera. I have 4 sakhis, 4 friends, besties, 4. They are also footloose and fancy free like me, beautiful friends, beautiful apsaras. Also, beloveds of Kubera. One day while we were all 5 of us were chatting and going to Kubera's palace, on the way we noticed there was a Brahmana who was alone. He was busy studying the Vedas. Such was his tapas, Shakti, that he was lighting up the whole area by his very presence. And he was a handsome looking guy. He was most handsome. So we decided that we should create some obstacles for him. So we got down to it. We smiled, we laughed gently, we sang. We did many things to win his attention. But he remained undistracted. We persisted. So when we kept on trying to get his attention, at one point of time he got upset. He got upset and he cursed us to become crocodiles for 100 years. Hundreds, Shataha Samaha, he said. Hundreds of years. Crocodiles. And he cursed us like this. We fell at his feet. We fell at his feet and said, Sir, we fell for your youth, we fell for your form, you are so handsome, that's why we fell for you, have pity on us, forgive us, etc. Almost asking him, who told you to be so handsome? We have to fall for you and then become crocodiles and all that nonsense. So they are asking him, Sir, please forgive and all that. Avadhyastu striyah srishta manyante dharmacharina tasmad dharmena vardhatvam nasman himsitam arhasi sharanam cha prapannanam shishta kurvanti palanam sharanam tvam prapannasmat tasmat tvam kshantum arhasi. So this is some Brahmana who was studying Vedas, etc. So these 5 apsaras who are becoming crocodiles. So each one you have to handle differently. So to him they are quoting Shastra. So they are telling him, listen, sir, as per Shastra, striyas, ladies should not be killed. They should not be punished. Avadhya should not be. Dharmacharina don't do these things. Therefore, you must do what is good for dharma and you must not do violence on us. It's not correct what you are doing. And moreover, Sharanam, we are taking refuge at your feet. We are doing Sharanagati to you. And all cultured people will protect those who do Sharanagati. Shishtam. Sharanam Tvam Prapanna. We are doing Sharanam to you. Therefore, Shantum Arhasi. You must please forgive us. They are pleading. Brahmana said, okay. The Shataha Samaha normally doesn't mean 100 years, it means endless time. thousands, millions of years. But in your case, I'll make it a round figure of 100. 100 years you will remain as crocodiles. Huh? All right, discount is given. Then he says, but one day when some great person will drag you out of the water, you will be freed of the curse. And you will recover your divine form. I never uttered any untruth in my life to anyone. After you are saved, the beautiful streams where you reside will become holy. And they will go by the name Nari Tirtha. And they will become capable of purifying even sages who take bath in it. Such will be their purity. He gives them that blessing. Like Tirtha Tirtham they are called, no? Sages are called Tirtha Tirtham. They give actually, sages give the rivers and the streams their purity. That's why they go and take a bath in Ganges. That's why they go and take a bath elsewhere. Because they take away the whatever the negatives are there and charge it. Anyway, now this crocodiles have been given that thing. So, but then life is good. So as soon as they were slightly recovering, now they could breathe. Narada also came. And Narada told them that, don't worry. Time will go off quickly. Arjuna will come. He will come and save you. He will come and save you. And so we have been waiting for you. And he told us which streams to be in. We are there. We are waiting for you. Now you have come. Sir, she tells Arjuna, please save my Sakhis also. There are 4 crocodiles waiting there. Please save them also in the waters. So it's not that she says, okay, I am going. She's a nice person. So she's saying that her friends also are there. So she takes them also. Anyway, there are so many things to discuss they have. So now he says, as he saves them all, he goes in and drags them all out and all that stuff. So all of them are saved and they all go back to Kubera, etc. And Arjuna decides that, let me go back to Manipur. So yeah, he goes back walking up east. He goes to Manipur. He wants to see his son supposed to be born, etc. So he wants to have a look. He goes there. Babruahana has been born. Babruahana. He spends some time with him, with his son, with Chitrangada. This is not some Nagaloka or something. That's a proper king and princess and all that. So he goes there. And then he finally he has to leave now. He blesses his wife, Chitrangada. And he asks her to take care of Babruahana. And it says that, I belong to Indraprastha. My brothers, we are 5. Pandavas, we are all there in Indraprastha. And you should come there. When you come there, you'll be very happy to meet my brothers. You'll really like Yudhishthira. All my brothers are very nice people. And all the people with me. And one day, actually very soon, sometime, my brother will be doing a Rajasuya Yagam. And when he does a Rajasuya Yagam, all the kings from all over the earth will come. I'm sure your father will come. And when your father comes, you should also come. And bring Babruahana also along with you when you come. All of you should come. Till then, bring up my son. He's a Pandava, by the way. He's a Pandava, she tells her. And don't feel sad that I am not with you. Know that Babruahana is just me. I am Babruahana. Babruahana is me. He is my very life. He's a Pandava. Take good care of him, he tells her. Take good care of him. Don't feel bad that I am not with you. See you. He says, I got to go to the west of India. So he cuts across the country and goes to Gokarna. Chitrangadam eva muktva Gokarnam abhido gamate Adyam Pashupate sthanam darshanadeva muktidam yatra papo panuja prapnotyabhayam padam. It is the Adyam Pashupate sthanam. It is the Adhisthana of Lord Shiva, Gokarna. Darshanadeva muktidam, whose very seeing it gives moksha. Yatra papo, where even greatest of papas, if you do, one has done, one goes there, you get abhayam. Says there. So he goes there. Then after spending some time there, he goes to other tirthas in the west. He goes to Prabhasa. Prabhasa is where the river Saraswati used to enter the ocean earlier. At the time itself, Saraswati had dried up during Mahabharata's time. But Prabhasa is a very famous place near Dwarka. So he goes there, and when he goes to there, now that area, that rulership of in Dwarka is Sri Krishna. Krishna has got spies all over the place. So he gets information that this Arjuna is there, hanging around somewhere nearby. He's coming to Prabhasa, he's walking there, so he gets complete detailed information he gets. So, before Arjuna reaches, as Arjuna reaches Prabhasa, Krishna also lands up there. He goes there to welcome him. Come, my friend, come, and all that. And they hug each other, they embrace each other. Tavanyonyam samashlishya Rishtva cha kushalam vane astam priya sakha yautau naranarayana vrishi. Anyonyam samashlishya, having a hug, bad hugged each other, the two of them. Rishtva cha kushalam vane, they inquired, how have you been doing, etc. to each other, where have you been and what's happening and all that to each other, how is, Rohini and Satyabhama and all that. And they're all chatting, Draupadi, any news, they're chatting all that. And then, Priya Sakhaya Utau, they both are so good, close friends. Who are they? Naranarayana Rishi. They are Nara and Narayana. Like Rama and Lakshmana, they are. When Rama and Lakshmana enter Ayodhya and Janaka sees them from far, he says, who are these who look like Nara and Narayana? Like that. So then Krishna says, sit down, makes him sit down, says, tell me, where have you been? What have you been up to all this time? What did you do? And all that. So he's okay. He's telling, Ulupi story, Chitrangala story, crocodile story, all that he's telling. Krishna is listening with great joy. Evamastu, evamastu. Good. So that's the way it was. Okay, etc. Then he says, okay, now, after everything is done, he says, I have got something arranged for you. We'll go. And he takes him to Raivataka mountain. Entire mountain has been set up for Arjuna now. Krishna has told them. So all lights have been put up and this has been done and that has been flowers and this and that. Fully decked up for Arjuna. And delicious fruits and food and everything has been arranged, etc. And he takes him there. They reach there by the evening. They sit down. And then Nata Nartakas and all that. For entertainment, dance and music and everything. For Arjuna, Arjuna is a Kalakara. Krishna is a Mahakalakara. So the two of them sit down and dance and music, etc. They're seeing all that. And then for that night, Arjuna sleeps well. And all, he sleeps. Comfortable bed is given to him. But before they sleep, they talk late into the night. It's 1 o'clock they're talking. Krishna and Arjuna going on talking in the night. All kinds of things. And he's telling all about the places he's been to, the adventures he's had, etc. Then in the morning he slept off, maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning he slept off saying, now I'll sleep nicely. But before he could probably have a nice sleep, Madhurena eva gitena Veena shabdena chaiva Prabodhyamano bubhude sudibir mangalaistata. The kings are woken up with Mangala Dhwani. So Mangala Dhwani starts. Nice songs, Veena music, so that they can be woken up. There'll be some music, tunes, some particular ragas, etc., with which you wake up kings. Not chang chang and all that. It'll be nice. Slowly you come to, all right, nice music. Then Mangala Vastus, etc., will be shown to you. Everything. Then people will chant your praise. Many things to make you good, feel good. Fragrances, many things. All therapies will be applied. So all that is done. Kausalya, Suprada, Rama, like that it's done. Suprabhatam is chanted. So they got up, both of them, Krishna and Arjuna. So what's the plan for the day? So Krishna says, plan for the day is Dwaraka. He says, all right, let's go. So they go. Now Dwaraka is of course under the sea. That time itself it went under the sea. It's still under the sea, the actual Dwaraka. So they were to go there. Now there also Krishna has already said the word. So the whole town is expecting Arjuna. Arjuna is a well-known character. So they're all lining up to see him. It's a glimpse of Arjuna, including thousands and thousands of women, it seems. With their eyes not blinking. They're all standing and watching looking at Arjuna. Arjuna decked up, looking so handsome, he's coming. He was given a rousing welcome in Dwarka. He goes, he's taken, Krishna says, you have to stay in my palace and all that. He takes him to his own palace. And his room, he must have given him, my room, yours, etc. And he stays there some days. Nice, it was there. A grand festival is held in Dwarka. All that is going on. There's a hill there, Raivataka. So there's a grand festival arranged there. Songs and dances and instrumental music, etc. Balarama is there. All the kings have been invited. Satyaki, all the Yaduvamshis, all people are now come to that hill, etc. is going on. Ugrasena, the father, the Pradyumna, son of Krishna, all of them, they are there wearing garlands. Akrura, many kings, many princes, queens, etc. They all come for the festival. And at that time, when they go for this festival, with exquisite makeup, decked with beautiful ornaments. See, the ornaments those days are so beautiful. If you go to, say, Belur Halebid and see the rock sculpture of one Apsara and see the ornaments from head to foot, you can't believe what kind of ornaments existed today. Don't even know anything about it. So all that. Anyway, one beautiful one lady, exquisite makeup, decked with ornaments, surrounded by Sakhis, came there. She was the beautiful daughter of Vasudeva. She was Subhadra, the sister of Krishna. She came there, and Arjuna and Krishna were together. Arjuna saw her, and when Arjuna saw her, Krishna saw him. No sooner Arjuna saw her, he was hit by a thunderbolt. In Godfather, the book, when that younger Michael Corleone goes for exile to Italy. He sees this girl and in Italian they say he was hit by thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. He had a wife in America, but forgotten. Thunderbolt. So, he was hit by thunderbolt. Krishna immediately knew the situation. Abravit Purushavyagra Prasanniva Bharata Vanecharasya Kimidam Kamena Lodyate Manah. So he laughed at Arjuna, it seems, and he said, you are supposed to be Vanechari, Brahmachari in the forest. What business do you have to fall for a girl like this? He asked him, laughing. And he tells him, see, Kuntinandana, this is my sister you are looking at. Her name is Subhadra. She is very dear to my father, okay? If you want to marry her, don't worry. I shall personally take up the matter with my father. Duhita Vasudevasya Jaswasa Rupena Taisha Sampanna Kamivaisha Namohayet. She is the daughter of Vasudeva. She is the sister of Vasudeva. She is the most beautiful. Who will not fall for her? Says Arjuna when he listens to this, to Krishna. Your sister, so beautiful. Don't blame me for falling for her. Who will not? He says. Kritame vatu kalyanam sarvam mama bhave dhruvam yadisyan mama vashne mahishiyam swasatava. And he also says, it can't be. No, God needs some favor done from Krishna. So he says, if you do this for me, then all my auspicious desires will be fulfilled. All. Nothing more for me in my life. Vasudeva has heard this before. Anyway, Vasudeva says, it's like this. As far as Kshatriyas are concerned, Swayamvara is the way for a bride to choose her husband. But there's a problem. Swayamvara Kshatriyanam Vivaha Purushashaba Sasa Samshayitah Partha Swabhavasya Nimittitah. But the problem is, In a Swayamvara, there is no certainty about a woman's mind. Suddenly she may put the garland on somebody else. We can't know. We don't know. We are not in control there. Okay. You don't know. It's the most intriguing thing, woman's mind. Who knows? Anything may happen that time. So we can't take that chance. So Swayamvara is ruled out. There's another way for a Kshatriya to marriage. I suggest you do that. He says, what is that? Carry her away. You can carry her away. Arjuna said, how do I do that? He said, yeah, we'll fix it up. He says that he arranges, he sets the whole plan. He said, this is what we'll do. Arjuna said, deal. I'll do the setting, you have to carry, I'll carry. That's not a problem. So that he does. So he says, all right, but 1 minute, I have to take permission from Yudhishthira. Now, for Chitrangada, he took no permission. For Ulupi, he took no permission. I think Krishna is involved here. So Arjuna is careful, bit, etc. He can't. I mean, sudden information cannot come to Yudhishthira that he is married, Krishna's sister, and nobody is invited, nothing. What nonsense. Elder brother is there, so he remembers. He says, I'll take permission. So he sends a message to Yudhishthira saying, this is being planned. I have planned to kidnap a sister of Krishna's blessings and all that. Yudhishthira is very happy, it seems, when he hears the news. Very happy. Very happy. He sends his blessings. Bhimasena is extremely happy, it seems. Are, and all this. Very thrilled. Bhimasena, I don't know why, he is also very thrilled to hear about this. He felt very fulfilled, it seems, Bhimasena. Very fulfilled. His brother is going to do something like this. His Kshatriya is going to carry it away. Now, terrific. Now we are ending. So terrific. All setting is done. Festival is there. She is supposed to be coming. She comes there for worshipping some temples. She goes there maybe to pray for a good husband or whatever. She comes there to the all fully properly decked, etc. Sister of the king. Yeah, what nonsense. She comes there. So now for Arjuna, Krishna has made a special chariot, fantastic chariot. All that special horses, Sugriva, those horses, named horses, have been yoked for him, and he is given all his weapons are there. And ostensibly, as far as everybody is concerned, he is going to that hill also to hunt wild animals. So he is taking weapons, etc. with him, it seems, to hunt wild animals. Maybe she is wild, we don't know, but he is going to hunt. At that time, the Subhadra came to the mountain. She was there and she was worshipping the hill. And beautiful, the description I had shown here only I found. She does Giri Pradakshinam. She does the circumambulation of the hill. And she finishes the worship and then is returning by walk to Dwarka. Our man is waiting for that opportunity. He immediately goes in his chariot, swatters near her, and Khatak, he has picked her up in no time. He's put her in his chariot and he started for Indraprastha. Is moved. On that note, we'll complete our story today. Haranama Parvati Pataye Janaki Kanta Smaranam Gopika Jivana Smaranam Vetrivel Muruganuk Sri Sadguru Swamina Sri Anjaneya Swamina